Hi guys, my name is Saskia and I'm coming to you, let me position this, from Aguilas, Spain. I'll be doing the takeover and telling you guys a little bit about my experience here, living here, my apartment, the work that I do, and anything else that might be interesting to you guys to know about the experience here. So I'll start by saying that I am an alumni of ITA. I did today is a little bit weird because typically my day is a lot busier. I wish I would have done this maybe yesterday because my day is usually busier. So I'll start by giving you guys a tour of my flat. So here's my living room area. There's some workout stuff right here. There is my computer area with some books, some of my stuff that I used to teach online. I teach online, but I do not teach children most of the time. Most of my students are adults, and I'll explain that more later. This is my area, my dining area. This is the rest of the living room, my door, my shoes. Here's my kitchen. I got a gas stove. I don't have an oven. So here's my kitchen. And then out there is where my washer and dryer and drying my clothes, because in Spain, usually you dry your clothes outside. Here is the hallway. There, the back room is the bedroom. I have 3 bedrooms and 1 bath. I live on my own. And if you're wondering how much I pay for rent, I pay €200. You see my home? Let me give you a little bit more background about me. My name is Saskia. I am originally from the US. My parents are from Haiti, and I'm a first-generation American. I was born in Stamford, Connecticut, and then I moved to a town outside of Atlanta, Georgia, at about the age of 6. So I moved during the 1996 Olympics. I lived there up until 2 years ago. So I lived there for 22 years, and then I moved to Spain. I have my master's degree in international relations, and I have my bachelor's degree in history, world history. And yeah, so that's a little bit of background about where I'm from and anything else. So let's talk about the program I'm in. I am in the North American Language Assistance Program, and it's available to people in North America, which is in Canada, English speakers in North America, which is Canada and the US. You have to have a college degree, which can be an associate's degree. You have to have a passport from these countries. You also have to they want you to be at a native level, but they've opened it up a lot more to other levels. What else do you need to have? You need to have have a degree. Teaching experience in Spanish is not required. It's just kind of a add-on. I've improved my Spanish, but I didn't have much Spanish before I got here. And yeah, so that's about it. What it is like. So you usually work in the region I'm in, it varies by region. The region I'm in, you get $8.75 for 15 hours of work. I'm divided this year between 3 schools. The first year it was 4, last year it was 2, and this year is 3. So each year you get assigned different schools, and you speak with a coordinator, and you go in the classrooms and you kind of just assist the students in talking, make sure they're maintaining English, help the teacher make any corrections that she may have or they may have in their writing and stuff like that. So it's pretty simple. It gives you a lot of spare time. So I've also been able to find other work. So I work online with a company called Engoo, which is focused. It's a Philippine-based company, and most of my students, about 95 to 90% of them, are adults. And then I just pretty much have conversation or different types of lessons based in conversation or focus study. Then I also found you can work up to 20 hours on top of your student visa. And I found work at an academy about 30 minutes away from where I live. Hopefully I'll be able to. Outside of teaching on Engoo, most of my students are children. I've only been assigned one adult school, and that was my first year. And they're called EOIs, Escuelas de Idiomas, which are language schools. I did that for 1 year, but last year I was pretty much, and it's about an hour and a half from the capital city of the region. So I really like it. It's small. It's known for Carnival, and Carnival is like, well, you guys are familiar with Carnival. It's a big celebration before Easter, and they have many traditions. I will show you around my city and go shopping with you guys a little bit later, because I'm going to go practice some roller skating because it's my day off, and I'm going to go do some grocery shopping. Yes and no. You get to pick your region. They put it in columns, and you get to decide on which region you want, and then you get to decide what kind of environment you like to live in, like the country or the city, and then from there they kind of just pick what best fits there. No real guarantee that you'll get like in the city center of anywhere. They may put you, even if you say you want the city, they may just put you on the outskirts of the city. I told them I didn't mind. I told them I wanted to be in Murcia because I knew the cost of living and everything would match up with how much we were getting paid, because everywhere else usually is about 700. And I also didn't like mind, so they put me in Aguilas. So yeah, you kind of don't really get exact city, but you get at least to pick your region most of the time. Yes, I've met people from the Philippines that are here doing a language assisting program, and I know that they've just recently opened it to India as well. But I don't know anything about the visa process for non-Americans. So it depends on your region. Nobody that I've met has struggled to pay their bills. I got lucky. I got a really good deal on my apartment through word of mouth. I got a really good deal. My landlord's really nice, and I've been able to find multiple streams of income. Like I said, I teach at the Academy, which is €10 an hour, and I also teach online, which I make around $10 an hour, which is about €8, give or take. The program I'm in starts applications in middle to late January, and it goes all the way to middle to late April. Is usually the time frame that they do. Each year it changes a little bit, either a little bit earlier or a little bit later, but it's the program I'm in is called the North American Language Assistance Program, and you can Google that, North American Language Assistant Program in Spain, and you should be able to find the application or the program route to that. The program is not through a school. This is through the government. So you're doing this through the Spanish government. It is not hiring year-round. The time frame, or you have until between mid-January to late January to mid-April to late April, and it's not the schools that are hiring. And you start your school year in October. So October 1st is when I start. Then I end the school year on May 31st is the last day for me, but it changes each region. But they don't hire you directly. You have to do it through the program. That's how I did it with my visa. Let me answer some questions because I might be a bit vague. So I did the ITA online course in 2017. And then I applied in the beginning of 2018, in January 2018, for the program, the North American Language Assistance Program. When I applied, I chose my region, and I placed a top 3 choice. So my first choice is often honored, but sometimes it's not, depending on the popularity of the region. I got here by getting a student visa based on my acceptance letter into the program. And I had to do that since I'm from Atlanta. I had to go to Miami and get it done at the Spanish consulate there. After that, I had to pay for my flight here, and I had to find my own accommodations and set up my visa in my national. And I did that all on my own. And it was pretty simple. It's just the language barrier and a little bit of bureaucracy, because it's a lot of, they do a lot of the stuff not as digital as it is in the US and other places. So you have to do a lot of paperwork, and that takes a while. I chose Spain because I just wanted to live somewhere where I could travel easily and the cost of living was cheap, and it is. I'll show you guys that, my cost of living. I'm on a student visa. I want to reiterate that. So it is as if I'm in school. I'm only able to work outside of the 15 hours, 20 hours, and I can't secure a job or do anything major. I can just live here without being worried about getting like deported for not being on an actual visa. Yeah, I told you guys that my students range from all ages. Like, I've had all ages students. And I work online with Engoo. I can make anywhere from, I would say, depending on how much effort I put in. If I'm free, I have a lot of free time, I can make up to 1,000. If I don't have that much time, I'd say about 500 to 300, depending on what effort I give. So I choose how much I make with that. With the academy, I make about 600 euro, which is about, it depends on the exchange rate. So it's about, I would say $700, $735, more or less. I get every vacation, that holiday that they have here off. I have 2 weeks in December, 2 to 3 weeks in December. I have a week for spring break in April. I have summers off. And there's like other holidays sprinkled in there as well. My program only works 4 days a week, so I have 3-day weekends. So that's also a great opportunity to do day trips or travel nearby. You can go to Portugal, you can go to other regions, and you can also go to Spain. I mean, not Spain. You can go to France and other places. The airport here is not that great, so I have to go to Alicante. But like if you're in Madrid or Barcelona, of course, they have way more connections than here. I live on my own, and if you guys are like, wow, she spends a lot more on food than she does rent, I eat at home a lot. I am vegan, and there's not many vegan locations because in Spain, they are just now getting on like the vegan trend, and they love their jamon, which is ham, and they love their tapas and seafood because I live near the coast of the Mediterranean. And I'll show you guys that later, but yeah, I eat mostly at home, so I spend a lot of money on groceries. I don't go out to eat. I noticed with kids, they are less inhibited and they were more willing to make mistakes and talk. With adults, I have more to talk about because we have more similarities because of our age similarity and less of a generation gap. It's an amount of engagement that you can get out of them. I notice with adults, they are more engaging online than they are in person. And with kids, they're more engaged in person than they are online because you know, of course, why. Because kids, yeah, you have to grip their attention more. Hey guys, so I'm gonna tag my actual Instagram here so you guys can go and follow me or talk to me there, and I'll put more on my stories there because I have more space. So I'll see you there. My dating has not been successful. I am single, but I don't mind it. I like staying to myself. I use dating apps, of course, but I haven't really met a lot of Spanish guys that I'm compatible with. So no. Now I'm out and about. This is like walking around my city center of this town, and I'm going to go do some grocery shopping and then go skate a little bit, and I'll show you guys how that is, so stay tuned. Plus is I live very close to the city center. Like I'm about a 5-minute walk to the city center, so it's not that bad for here. There's a lot of options. There's like tobacco shops, if you smoke cigarettes and stuff like that. There's banks everywhere. Everything is open now. But we are required to wear a mask everywhere we go. Because of course. And so, yeah, so I'll show you guys so you guys can see. It's a very small, traditional Spanish city. Very small. Well, not very small. It's not the smallest I've been to, but I'm going to the health food store to get some vegan stuff. So this is the coast of the Mediterranean, which is where I live on. I live in Murcia region. So you can see the coast. It's a little bit windy today. Like fall hit hard. And then right there is one of the schools I worked at. This is the high school I was at last year. I'm not returning there this year, but it's right next to the beach, so you can see the coast and everything. And it was really nice. So here is another side. This island right here is called Isla Fel. island of the Friars, and it's really nice. Little beach down there, really secluded. But I'm going here to practice. Changed locations because I couldn't get into the other spot, but I found somewhere with flat ground to practice roller skating. The inside of the store, like I said, it looks pretty much like a Walmart. It's about the same size as a Walmart. They even have clothing and like home stuff over there. The frozen food, organic stuff, and then, yeah, I don't go over there because I don't eat. I actually wrote an article for ITA about this experience that I've had here as a person of color. So, I'll post it or share the screenshot of it so you can look it up and learn more about my experience as a person of color, Black. So the last 2 points I'm going to make is I do have a class this evening. I'm waiting right now for the class to start. And once I get done with the class, I'm going to take you guys up to my rooftop so I can show you guys a surprise. Finishing the notes for the lesson, I have to leave notes for each student within 24 hours so I can get paid for the class. And I leave a note, and then I'm gonna take you guys upstairs. I've been talking a little bit too much because I just get excited about sharing my experience. So I'm gonna, again, you can follow me, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more on my direct page. So I'll put it right here, right here.